Hello, this is Abby Mickey, host of the Wheel Talk podcast, and I'm here to convince you to sign up for membership for escapecollective.com. Now, the reason that this is important is because we are a membership-based media model, and that means that we are not beholden to sponsors, but it does come down to you, the members of escapecollective.com. Escape Collective is your hub for all things cycling. There's just new stuff churning out every day, and the members of the Escape Collective make it possible. So thank you to everyone who's signed up. And please, if you enjoy what we do, then, put your money where your ears are and sign up, become a member. You can become a member at escapecollective.com/join. That's escapecollective.com/join. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Escape Collective Tour Daily Podcast. I'm Kaylee Fretz. We are sitting... Well, Johnny Long, where are we sitting?
We're sitting in a restaurant with what was a great view until...
It's still nice.
It's all right.
It's a bit dark now.
Yeah, it's a bit dark. It was glorious earlier. We're in a restaurant where the playlist that's being pumped out the speakers went from Killing Me Softly, better cover, I think.
There was a bossa nova version, instrumental, of Moon River.
There was Brits will know what I mean when I say it was a John Lewis advert cover of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. And then there was also it was like a song about the beach or something, or
I just blacked it out.
Somewhere beyond the sea. It's like a famous one. I don't know what it is.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But the food is good, and we got dinner, which is always exciting. We are here in Morzine, where stage 14. Got it right. Stage 14 wrapped up a couple hours ago.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day. Amazing stage, and we'll talk all about it. We have a live audience.
We do.
Tonight. Yeah.
Of two people. We must say.
It almost made it sound like we were popular or had friends.
Just to let the listeners know, Ian used quote marks around the word friends, despite being on the friendship tour.
I am on the friendship tour, but I don't think they're real friends either.
That's sad.
Well, we try to be friends with everybody here on the Tour de France. We've got Andy McGrath, who you would recognize the byline from Escape Collective, actually. You've written a couple things.
Good evening, friends.
Yes. Well, they're probably not really going to say much, but they are close enough that we can stick a mic in front of them if we need to. And Cy O'Shea.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome. Should we get into the stage? First and foremost,
yeah.
I mean, we raced for 3 hours and 58 minutes. Many attacks, bonus seconds taken, lost, and...
Motos banished.
Motos banished. And the difference at the end of the day on the GC is 1 second advantage, Jonas Vingegaard.
I guess the football analogy would be an exciting 0-0 draw, but there was so much more than that. Jonas Vingegaard says that he doesn't like to decide on like the moral victor of a stage, by which he kind of means like who showed to be the stronger or maybe landed like a psychological blow. But he was a victor. I mean, after Carlos Rodriguez, who won the stage, but he was more, the real battle was between Vingegaard and Pogačar, and it was great. And yet another example of, well, I think I saw Peter Cousins describe on Twitter, he'd put a poll up being like, is this the best rivalry of the 21st century? And we don't want to get all ESPN Sports Center on this, but it is great.
Yeah. I've never seen a tour quite like this, I don't think. We've talked about this so many times already. I don't want to repeat myself, but the first week was incredible. The route is incredible. We're coming into a last week that is going to be incredibly difficult, and at the moment, we can't separate these two, and that's what's going to keep it exciting, hopefully all the way to the end. At some point, right, somebody's got to crack. Well, let's talk about what they were saying in like Jonas Vingegaard in his press conference. There's two different kind of tactics here, right? One is the Tadej Pogačar, I'm going to take 3 seconds out of you at a time, and if I win this Tour de France by 4 seconds, I'm happy. And if you kind of do the math on the next couple days, there's probably the potential for him to take, I don't know, another 20 or 30 seconds just purely off of like sprinting in the last 500 meters, right? That's kind of the tactic that he's done so far. You have the other side, which is Jonas Vingegaard saying in his press conference today that he still thinks it's going to be a race that's won by minutes, not seconds. And they're riding like that. They stuck the entire team on the front all day today. They kept the breakaway really close. I actually asked one of their directors afterward, like, did you keep the break close because you're just not worried about the bonus seconds thing? And he basically said, yeah, like, we're not thinking seconds, we are thinking minutes. And the only thing that I can sort of extrapolate from that is that today was part of a bigger, broader plan that involves both this stage, tomorrow's stage, and I guess the time trial. And they're trying to soften him up. And they know that over the long haul, they think they can get him, and they think they can get him big, and they think they can do the same thing as they did in the Glibia de Granon last year.
Yeah, just to run down what happened on today's stage, there was, first of all, there was a lot of crashes and the race had to be neutralised, which feels like it happened days ago, but was around lunchtime. Likes of James Shaw, Romain Bardet, Esteban Chavez, Louis Mainchees, a few other, the main like headline names.
Ramon Sinkeldam.
Sinkeldam. I think he was one of the ones left without his luggage at the start of the tour, so really from bad to worse, really. Although he was part of winning 4 stages, so
good job.
Got his job done and got out. But the blip break, that sort of maybe killed off any chance of the break, but then Jumbo-Visma were just driving the pace all day. Caught everyone, nothing was left out, and then
they tried. I mean,
tried.
Mike Woods and Alaphilippe and like some big names really went for it.
But
with
then,
no success.
Well, but then Jumbo-Visma still had like 7 guys when we were. It was at the penultimate climb.
Yep. Series of Cat 1s basically, with the last climb being the HC Joux Plane.
So they drove it all the way up there. And then at which point was there the Lazarus recovery from Wout van Aert? Was that on that climb or the final climb?
That was on the Joux Plane at the bottom of it.
Final one. Yeah, that was quite something. There's a really great quote that Dan Deakins, who's works at ITV, the British broadcaster Tour de France, off air, David Miller said that when Wout van Aert like cracked and then came back, it was equivalent of a mother lifting a car off her baby. Which I don't know why you wouldn't just broadcast that, because that is great.
It's a great quote, and it's true. It was a weird moment. I
the press room laughed.
Yeah, he did the sort of like pull the plug thing that he does, and then he was like, actually, gonna plug it back in real quick, and just zoomed right back up to the front.
I think it's okay. Not to make this podcast all about football analogies, but it's when a goalkeeper there's like an easy save, but they like leap in the air and they flick their legs a bit to make it look much harder than it was. So I think that's what they do when they pull the plug. Yeah, because it looks great on TV and probably like, oh wow, they really left it all out there. But then if you just zoom right back up to the front, and like
maybe wasn't actually as dramatic a save as
maybe
as
it's another Red Bull marketing campaign.
Ooh, I think we should work as many football/soccer analogies into this podcast as we possibly can.
Don't test me.
A point for each one.
Okay. What's the exchange rate for points to?
5 points means automatic victory in the Daily Pain later.
Wow, okay. This is getting complex. But yeah, then the big moment of the day, the big headline moment of the day, was when Tadej Pogačar tried to sprint from about 300-400...
Before then.
What happened before that? I can't even remember.
He dropped Vingegaard for a while.
Oh, he did, yeah. Oh, yeah, that happened. Jeez.
I mean, because I think it was about 3.5K from the top of the climb, he put in a pretty serious attack. Got a bit of distance. He did. Basically, it looked the same as it has the last couple times he's done this, where the gap starts really small and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this time, either it's hard to tell on the television, Pogačar started to slow down, or Vingegaard sped up. Probably the former. And the gap essentially stayed at not that much. Like, could see each other a couple seconds. I think it got up to like maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds. And then slowly, Jonas Vingegaard clawed him back, pulled him all the way back in. I think probably Pogačar just went a bit early. If he did the exact same thing, 500 meters from the top, he goes over the top with a couple seconds and maybe hangs on to it. We have a completely different bike race right now. But he went for the slightly longer effort.
Who knows?
And then
Tadej Pogačar tried to sprint for the bonus seconds at the top. and met the back end of a motorbike, really, that way he couldn't get round it, and that stunted his attack. I think would the UAE Team Emirates staff say that maybe it was a bit far out for that attack? I was reading.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little. I think a little bit too far from. He probably should have just gone where Jonas Vingegaard ended up going.
Pogačar said he wasted like a bullet there, and then closer to the top of the climb, Vingegaard then attacked Pogačar. It looked like Pogačar kind of didn't see him because by this point he was like he'd been forced to the front again.
Yep.
And then Vingegaard got the bonus seconds over the top.
I think the first time that they've both had bonus seconds available to them that Vingegaard has taken them.
That's a good stat.
Don't quote me on
very,
that.
Very niche pub quiz question for years to come. And then Pogačar beat Vingegaard in the sprint for second at the finish line. So then it worked out that Vingegaard took 1 second total. So now the lead is 10 seconds.
The lead is 10 seconds.
There we go.
Yep.
And across the finish line, you pointed this out, Katie. Tadej Pogačar had all that like white stuff around his mouth, which you think is a warning sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. Like, did he have like a weird white gel right beforehand? I don't know, but it certainly
just had some late race bike up.
I mean, who knows? But it certainly looked like sort of salt crusty, which would tell me, and the fact that he was like just downing water and dumping water all over himself.
Like
they were trying to cool him off as quickly as possible.
And Vingegaard looked all right.
And there was that moment near the top of I think it was the top of the Joux Plane where he missed a bottle or dropped a bottle and got all kind of angry about it. So I think that he may have finished today's stage slightly dehydrated, and that's a difficult thing to recover from. If you will recall, we talked to Mike Woods earlier in this race, and Mike Woods basically said the reason that he fell off and his GC hopes ended on the Tourmalet is because he actually didn't eat enough on the easy stages prior. Now, granted, dehydration is slightly different than eating and glycogen, but it's still like these things, they affect day to day. And I think that's kind of what Jonas Vingegaard and Jumbo-Visma are hoping for, is that there is a mistake like that or something that kind of adds up day to day that maybe, in the coming stages, we end up with Pogačar finally cracking. I think that's what they're counting on.
I guess they know that he can be cracked, so that they just have to try and will it into existence.
Yeah, basically.
Whereas we haven't seen Pogačar do the same to Vingegaard. I have more on the Pogačar post-finish line stuff, but we're saving that for later on when we finish the serious race analysis.
Oh, is there less serious version?
No, just of other things that occurred after the finish line.
Some snogging?
Not today, although the Discord was pleased with Ian's reporting because it aligns with Luke Rowe's reporting on his podcast with Geraint Thomas, where Luke Rowe's walking through an airport and saw Devago and his girlfriend just making out in departures.
Going at it.
Which is also the worst airport vibe ever. You see like two people just, gross.
Very gross. Well, we've kind of talked about why we think today played out like it did. I think that Jumbo-Visma is playing this tactic where, like I said, they want to break them down stage after stage. Now the question is, what breaks down first? Does Tadej Pogačar break down, or does Jumbo-Visma start to break down? That's, I think, still up in the air. Or you could do the exact same thing. You could do that to your own teammate, right? You make it really, really hard day after day. Your own teammate could be the one that ends up suffering for that. We just don't know yet.
Former UAE rider Dan Martin is calling for his former team to send Adam Yates in the breakaway tomorrow.
They should.
To make Jumbo work.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Do it. Because Yates is currently...
He's a bit further down
leading the Yates classification.
He is, and I was
You're waiting for us to bring that up.
I haven't said anything for the last 15 minutes, but I know where I come in with the minor classifications. So the Yates classification was something that I was meaning to talk to both Adam and Simon about this morning. We ran out of time because we were talking about another classification, which you'll hear about later on. But Adam has extended his lead in the Yates classification.
It was only a second.
It was only a second this morning, which would have been a much better chat, I think, if we'd been like, oh, boys, this is a tight one. But now there is...
Well, because the Yateses are friends of the pod now.
Well, they're families.
Acquaintances.
Not friends. Don't want to scare them off. They're acquaintances.
But now there is a 3-minute gap between the Yates brothers. So
Yeah, but maybe if Adam has to put in a real shift for Pogačar at some point, then Simon can... It's not over yet. There's
It is not
plenty more
over yet.
racing to come.
It's not over yet.
So that's the Yates classification. We will bring you more on this important and developing news as we have it.
I can't believe we took so long to get into the Yates classification. It feels we should have started that much earlier. Maybe after stage 1.
Should we cover some Groupama FGJ classification?
Oh, yes, please.
Doomed
So-
French classification?
Doomed French classification. So David
Same
Gaudu has extended his lead in that,
Wow, okay.
which will mean all sorts of unsavoury makeout sessions, I'm sure.
Oh, can you imagine?
It's just going to be...
Gross.
It was barely PG at the best of times, but I think we're going up a few notches after today's performance.
Are they going to be wearing one T-shirt again?
They'll just stitch themselves into the same garment. It actually looked quite tenuous for Gaudu earlier in the stage because Thibaut Pinot was in the breakaway. But then Thibaut doomed himself out of the breakaway.
As he does.
As he does. And David Gaudu doomed himself out of 9th place on the GC and into 10th place. So we have David Gaudu in 10th. We also have Guillaume Martin, who has
is he
made a
rising
big
up?
move up. He's into 12th on GC.
How's he done that?
He was 10th, 11th. On the fringes of the
Gaudu
top
is still
10
the
as-
top Frenchman in 10th place. This is a bad tour for the French.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they won a stage quite early.
Meanwhile, one of our Spanish colleagues, Danny Miranda for Diario, I want to say, he was practically skipping out the press room today because the French haven't won a stage for 100 stages. They look, they're in the podium, yeah, third place on the podium in a minute. He can't believe his luck.
Oh, the Spanish, yeah.
Yeah.
They what, took 5 years between stage wins and they just have 3 now?
Unreal. But sorry.
The side effect of Carlos Rodriguez moving up into 3rd on the GC is that Jai Hindley, who was deeply 3rd on the GC until this morning, is now in
deeply
4th.
unthird.
He was involved
But
in
he's
the crash
he's
earlier
only
in the
slightly
one
fourth.
second.
1 second. So
It's trending poorly though, and Jai Hindley was involved in the crash.
yeah, so he was looking a little bit sore. On his jersey on the right-hand side was torn. His
Yeah.
nicks on the right-hand side were torn.
Watched
So-
him get on his bike for cool down, and he got on gingerly, but once he was on, was pedaling all right. So he's probably not going to sleep well. The stuff it impacts him for sure.
I imagine that he'll still smile the entire time because this is the way of Jai Hindley, one of the nicer people in the peloton.
Felt really bad for him today.
Just smile himself to a bad sleep.
Yeah. Bad day for Tom Pidcock.
Yeah.
Brits. Sorry, Brits.
He had a long think to himself. I went all the way down to the Ineos bus, and he was warming down his time trial bike and just had his head like buried in his arms. His those like compression things they wear on their upper arms, or like the type of jersey they wear, and it meant that he just had his like upper arms were like ribbed. It was very weird. He looked quite weird.
I think it's the jerseys. Yeah.
The jerseys, yeah, that one was tight. His whole family were there. He kind of ushered them out because they were just like kind of cramping his style a little bit. There were like 6 of them, and he was like, "This is like the tour, and we're like a professional team. Like you can't just. This isn't like the Lincoln Grand Prix or whatever."
Just full disclosure, Johnny, you and I both picked him in our fantasy today.
And the day before, I picked Carlos Rodriguez, so I just got my Ineos guys the wrong way around. So this is why I don't do fantasy.
Well, but like we did that because today was a really good day for him. I mean, under normal circumstances, if they go over the Joux Plane with half a dozen riders, he's been in that group.
His plan was to attack at the top of the Joux Plane and descend down because Morsey and his family were on British coverage commentary earlier today. And we're saying how they always used to come to Morsey and do mountain biking, but they knew the trails a bit better than the roads.
Bad, sad Tom Pidcock.
But Big Dave was at the finish.
Big Dave B.
Big Davey B. I saw
he's taking a break from trying to buy Manchester United or something.
It sounds like that is taking up a lot of his time at the minute, and he's not necessarily enjoying it. And it was a bit of a welcome respite to come back to the tour where they've won today. They won yesterday. I think he supposedly is over here. I think his dad lives in Morsey or nearby, but then also Big Jim, who's bigger than Big Dave, is having a little shindig up at his place in Courchevel, as you do when you're a billionaire.
Right.
So we didn't get that invite.
No. Question.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence that Dave Brailsford comes back and they start winning stages again?
It's like Paris-Roubaix when he was at the finish line waiting for Dylan van Baarle to come back. So either he's got very able transport opportunities where he can just zoom in when it's looking good, or he's the magic touch they're missing.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't know.
We should go ask
Wasn't there
Rob
yesterday?
that. He'll love that.
No.
Wasn't there yesterday?
No?
Maybe he was. I don't know. I didn't hear.
I
about
never
him
really
in
got to
the
ever experience like Dave Brailsford in the flesh at bike races, and it's quite macho and there's a lot of swagger, and it's like a Mark Cavendish sort of thing where you're just like, what's going on here? It's like a bright shiny thing that I'm interested in.
That's right. You would have
Like big loud hand slaps.
Yeah, because
people.
you started in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Ish.
Didn't get to race till 2020.
Right, and so peak
He was already hiding from all the questions about the doctors.
scrum times was like, 13, 14, 15, I would say. Yeah, probably even more so than like the Wiggins year because he had more to answer for, frankly.
Well, maybe
the
that's
further we
why
got
he stayed away. Is maybe Man United and football stuff is a welcome
Yeah,
distraction from
I
him.
think he preferred to talk about bike race stuff to like us asking him about jiffy bags on a regular basis. So I think maybe he just left for a
but
while.
Yeah, as I awkwardly lingered next to ITV's Daniel Freeb to pick off the scraps of the interview he'd set up, I did get to experience the whole Brailsford hand movements and talking
They're
around
good.
subjects and stuff like that. And
Yes.
I feel like I got a taste.
He's good for a quote.
greatest
He's always
hits.
good for a quote, although sometimes he would go and transcribe things and be like, it's a lot of talking with no quote. What am I supposed to do with all of this? Because you can't just drop an entire paragraph of quote in, but he sort of talks in circles a lot. Anyway, now we're getting inside baseball. We should move on from Dave
Yes, we
Brailsford
should.
being here. It was a sad day for Tom Pidcock. I was sad for him. You could just see him struggling
Just
on
didn't
the
have
back
the
of that
energy.
group. He clearly has he had a really bad day because he got dropped when it was still like the Jumbo big boys
He was
pulling.
swinging.
It wasn't like it was set pulling. It
Well,
was
and then
like
on the descent, it wasn't technical enough for him to make up the thing. And then it was also Wout van Aert on the front, just driving them away. Oh, what we haven't had yet, Ian, which you were doing during the stage, was your Grisha Nim and Wout van Aert impression. Which can we have it now?
It's quite a good one.
It's somehow you've got it
Because
right in your ear.
I've got a bit of a cold as well. It really gets some of that Germanic gravel in the voice.
Okay, do you want counting in, or do you just want a slight pause and then take it away?
what type of vehicle is Wout van Aert?
You're a fucking motorbike, Wout. Come on, man. You're a fucking motorbike. I think
I
that's
could listen
pretty good.
to it all day. Can you still set your ringtones to
I hope so.
customizable things?
I
I
hope
want
so.
that.
That would be a hell of a way to wake up. That was your alarm?
If I was Wout van Aert, I would love that to be my alarm.
I wouldn't. I would be scared of the
I
German
would-
man telling me I was a motorbike.
I would hold the speakers of my phone next to my very expensive granite countertop in my kitchen and just hear it reverberate off my, counters and such.
We've covered a lot of the minor classifications, but Kaylee, I think that you have failed to acknowledge the fact that Sebastian Kuss
Oh yeah.
has moved up into 6th on GC.
Wow.
Just on an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
Okay.
GC Kuss.
GC Kuss.
I mean, it's a pretty damn good bicycle ride. Granted, he's going to lose. Well, actually, he won't lose much to the guys down near him.
He's
in
splitting
the
the
time trial.
Yates.
He will lose a bunch to
Goose sandwich.
the top two in the time trial. Wait, no. If he's, I guess it is a Kuss
Okay.
sandwich. You don't
Yeah, he
name the
is-
sandwich
yeah.
after the bread. You
No,
name it
he's
after what's in there.
I used to work with someone.
I was going to say it's a Yates sandwich, but it's a
Wait,
Kuss
what?
sandwich.
This is going to be good.
I used to work with someone who made bread sandwiches where it was 2 slices of multigrain and then a slice of white bread in the middle, or vice versa. And that was a bread sandwich.
Where were you working? In a prison?
Quite a sad bike shop.
Okay. Maybe as well as your Yates classification coverage, Ian, which also you're only at the race for a couple more days, so
Yeah,
maybe you're going to have to pass
I
on
need
to
to move
either
on the Yates
myself or
boys.
Kate. But maybe we could have a best domestique GC ranking and just ask them very serious questions about how they're going to attack the other one that day.
I think Sebastian is the right person to talk about
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Because see if he's going to attack Vingegaard.
Sep,
When are you going to make him move on Jonas?
Sepp does have a very good sense of humor. However, I'm not sure he has a very good sense of humor at the Tour de France. We can try.
I've never seen him not answer a question with a smile. Not that we should push the man to verbal violence,
He's
but
a really nice human being.
he is nice.
Yeah.
We shouldn't push the nice people here. There's not enough of
No,
them.
they'll break, they'll crack, they'll never want to talk to us again.
Are we so we're done with our proper analysis of the
No,
bike
no.
race?
One more
Okay.
American classification. which is bad news for the American smile of Nielsen Powless.
Oh, yeah. Rough.
Because Jonas Vingegaard is tied on points with him, which means that Nielsen will have a compensation jersey without the actual... I don't think he'll actually get the jersey proper.
No, and it means that we're very likely... I think we're very likely headed for the mannequin in Paris scenario, which is which is the worst. Yeah. So
do you remember last year?
No.
Yep, on the podium. So it'll just be like Vingegaard and Pogačar on the or whoever on the podium
with Philipsen and
with
a bunch of
Philipsen
mannequins.
and a bunch of mannequins of the jersey that they also won.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Oh wow!
That doesn't tell ASO they need to change things around. So there's no hope.
They need to change the climber's jersey.
Or just have some sort of crafty solution where it's half yellow, half polka dots.
Oh,
and then you'll look like the
Elmer.
They just need to not make HC finishes so crazy valuable.
Yeah, reward the people who ride 120 kilometers in the breakaway to get 2 points atop a Cat 3.
Yeah.
Give
Nielsen his spots.
Yes. Let us have that robotic smile every day. It's not robotic.
It's not robotic. It's lovely.
It's more just...
He's genuinely happy. He's a happy man. I think it's time for corners. Are we... Corner. This is corner. And do we have a Christoph corner, Ian?
Well... I'm running out of time to provide more Christoph corners, so I think I'll save this one again. Although, we do have a couple of absolute corkers in the bag.
We might have discussed our plan for Christoph corners yesterday's podcast, but just in case we didn't.
No, we did. We definitely did. Okay, and I'm just stringing people along for a second day in a row.
I've got I can't think of another word for a corner that would either go with Pogačar. I've got a Pogačar corner, but I've also got
the Pogačar pocket.
A Pogačar pocket. So... I've become a bit intrigued about why, when he crosses the finish line, he downs a bottle of San Pellegrino, like he's, some sort of.
Was it San P?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was.
Was it Perrier?
I thought it was Perrier.
Today it looked like San Pellegrino because it was the light blue label, and I was going to say it looks very much like someone picnicking on Richmond Park, what they would drink.
What I will say is that nobody is downing the Vittel because it tastes like soap. Vittel is for pouring over your head.
Yeah.
Bottle after bottle after bottle.
So I did mention, I asked Lucky Luke or Lacquer and Luke. We'll get to that in a minute. Larrikin. I've missed this word my entire life, and now it's become it haunts me. I asked him about the San Pellegrino, and he didn't correct, so I think it is San Pellegrino. I asked why does he drink that after the stage, because I can't imagine, like, when you obviously we're not sprinting up mountains, but when you finish exercise, do you necessarily want a bottle of sparkling water? It's not the first thing I would go for.
No.
I think carbonation is actually a thing that people seem to like based on how many people are drinking Fanta.
I always thought that was a sugar thing though, but maybe it is. But anyway, it was
flat Coke used to be a thing. For like, you'd take a flat Coke on the last climb because you wanted the sugar and the caffeine, but you did not want the carbonation.
I did some Googling though, and there are potential recovery benefits, which I asked if that was it. But there's also it could aid digestion if he's like been eating a lot on the bike and not used to that much or something like that. So I asked whether that was the case, and the answer was I think he just finds it more refreshing, to be honest. So that Pogačar's pocket is sewn up.
Perrier corner? No, it's not Perrier. Whatever we decided it was.
Are we sure there's not some little commercial
angle on this?
If he's sponsored by San Pellegrino, then that's just great.
San Pellegrino pocket.
The water that Pogačar finds slightly more refreshing than the others. San Pellegrino.
The man who was responsible for this information, Luke Maguire, U18 press officer, Larrikin, Lucky Luke, he says that he's not sold on either, but doesn't mind between either. Says both have their charm, so that's a decision we have to make.
Did he suggest any? So you're talking in terms of his name,
his nickname, yeah, because now he's part of our equivalent of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's been drawn in.
So what does he have any suggestions?
No, he
Could he ask
He's a humble guy, so he would never.
Can he ask Pogačar for a suggestion?
He could. I imagine Pogačar's quite busy at the minute.
I don't think he's busy at all. He's gonna be hanging out the entire rest day.
But some slight consternation that our impeccable journalistic impartiality may be compromised, because fun fact about Luke Maguire, his grandfather's name on his mother's side is John Long. So maybe we're distant cousins.
Maybe you are his grandfather.
Maybe.
Should we go to another corner?
Yeah, which one? Maya Sabla? Well, talking of the Maya Sabla, we were fortunate enough this morning to speak to the man who wore the Maya Sabla in today's race. You may not have seen it, but he was wearing it.
He was.
And we caught up with him at the bus this morning, so let's listen to that now. We're at the start before stage 14 with a very special guest. He wasn't on the proper podium last night, but he was on the podium of our hearts. Yeah, our podium. We're joined by the current Maya Sabla wearer, Jack Haig. Jack Haig, first of all, how are you getting on? And can you just tell us if it was an honour to be wearing the Maya Sabla today in the race?
You said it was not the real podium or the podium that didn't matter, but I think it's the only podium that matters. It's the secret one that only the true cycling fans maybe know about. And I've had a really heavy race program coming into the Tour, so I knew that the yellow jersey classification was going to be quite hard to go for, so I set my targets even higher to go for the... you're going to have to remind me the name.
The Maya Sabla.
Exactly, the Maya Sabla. And so far, the goal's working out quite well. I'm currently in the lead. I need to watch a couple of guys today. It's going to be a tight battle maybe for the calculations and the mathematics at the finish line. And maybe I need to either wait a little bit beforehand or really sprint at the end. So I'll have the information coming on the radio. And hopefully I can continue leading tomorrow.
A heavy race program pre-tour is almost perfect preparation for the Maya Sabla, but some may say that...
I couldn't agree more. It's been like I said, I've set it out from December training camp, Tour de France, heavy race program, Maya Sabla.
Some may say that you've taken it too early, though. What would you say to those people? Take it day by day, or is there a bigger plan in the works?
Has Vingegaard taken the yellow jersey too early?
Good question.
So I'm doing a similar trajectory. He's a big favourite to win this bike race. So, following the same game plan.
Well, unfortunately, I can't imagine Jack hung on to it today.
He dropped off, obviously everyone dropped off that league group at some point, and
Yep.
Here's a clue, he did not. He moved up the GC today, but he's not the...
So this is the thing, is the Maya Sabla moves up the GC as well. So you are racing the Maya Sabla once you're in it.
He is now in 27th overall, moving up 8 places. He's 1 hour, 22 minutes, 46 seconds back. So that's going to have to be some breakaway.
He needs a 22-minute breakaway.
It's a great third week.
Yeah, or a real fast time trial.
I think he was a fitting wearer.
He was.
He understood the significance of it, spoke about it with a real sense of pride. There was a quiet dignity in it. I think he handled it respectfully.
I mean, heavy is...
At the shoulders.
Heavy are the shoulders that wear... I got that phrase wrong.
Yeah.
Heavy is the weight that bears upon the shoulders of the Maya Sabla. That's not really the phrase, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What I like, though, is that the Tour, it's all about honouring the jersey, honouring the yellow jersey. You know, you don't give it up. And I feel like Jack is one of the few riders who honoured the Maya Sabla.
He honoured it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By not telling us to fuck off as soon as we went over and asked him to talk about being an hour down on GC.
Well, when we went over to chat with him this morning, he came right out.
He must have been he must have spotted us and was like, these guys need to get rid of them quickly.
Nip this one in the bud.
Yeah, nip this one in the bud, and then definitely don't stay in that front group for too long on the stage. So the new Maya Sabla, gentlemen.
Oh. Okay.
23rd on GC.
23rd place already? We got a week to go. Whew.
And the time difference is shown now because the time of the Maya Sabla is 1 hour, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, I'm thinking we could maybe incorporate our guests in this game.
Does that mean that they get to go to the Paris Olympics for Escape Collective?
Maybe. I'm thinking more that if either of them guess it right, I get the point.
Ooh. Yeah, let's do it.
But I think what we'll do is we'll start this way round.
Okay.
And there won't be any clues.
No, we start with Ian tonight.
Oh, we start with Ian.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll go Ian round this way.
Okay.
And to make it more interesting, maybe, and everyone talks about it, no clues.
No clues.
No clues. So you just gotta
This
spout
is mad.
names.
Now we're just saying names of people that we might know.
Wow, it's a guesstimation. You know, it's 23rd on GC. There's only so many climbers
So
of
who
that
is
level.
23rd on GC right now?
Rafael Micah.
No.
Egan Bernal.
No.
Ben O'Connor.
Ooh. Right zone.
Close, but no.
Jonas Igir?
No.
Felix Gross-Schartner.
Intralaw, you've got it. Where did you plug that one from?
I thought it's going to be a UAE or a Jumbo Visma, but it's going to be one of the lesser ones.
The ones who are
An hour behind.
riding, yeah.
And I
riding
knew
and
that
pulling.
Vingegaard Langen
Yeah.
was
No.
too far back. Trenton, he's out.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I mean, Wout van Aert probably wouldn't have been a bad pick.
Egan Bernal is like he's 1 hour 10 and
Brutal.
Ben O'Connor 52 minutes. So the gaps
We were close.
he could Fitzgerald could take this to Paris.
I will
maybe.
also. I'll let you in on a little bit more of my method.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about how, because Gross-Schartner's name has one of the double S's in it.
Yeah.
So today I was just in a sort of fever dream moment of the stage. I was just
You were holding down the S on your keyboard and just seeing what came up.
contemplating how funny it was that he has 3 S's in a row in the middle
Yeah.
of his name.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
No, it's pretty good. Only guy in the race with that, I think.
Gross-Schartner.
Yeah.
Do you have to hold it like that?
No, you don't. I think the German Etzeth is it's just something that they have. But when you transcribe it into a language without it,
podcast in the Tour de France.
when you transcribe it into a language that doesn't use that character, it's just a double S. So he's a triple S boy.
Should we start calling that Triple S? Like walks, rides past the sun and like, hey, Triple S. No, let's not do that.
All right, point to Ian. I
Ian's,
don't remember what the point. Who's winning?
I think Ian's 1 up now. Or
I think
2
it's
up.
4-3
damn
maybe.
Yeah, 4-3-1.
4-3-1.
Yeah,
But I'm
about
thanks,
to-
guys.
I'm about to drop dramatically out of this because I'm going to be gone from
Maybe
Monday.
you-
So you're about to get a
or maybe-
7-point lead, Kaylee.
Maybe
right.
Kate takes your spot, and then
And your points.
and then there's a big playoff between the two of you to see who gets to go to the Olympics.
Oh boy.
Yep. Should we play
Daily Pain.
Daily Pain?
Let's play Daily Pain.
Okay. This is going to be fun because it is simultaneously very easy, and I imagine you're going to forget some, and it's going to be embarrassing for everybody.
And we've got Syed and Andy here who know far more about bike racing, well, I'll speak personally, than me. So they will just be here sort of remonstrating like a silent movie behind us.
If we can get all the way to the end of this, and we just get all the things, which is a possibility,
Okay.
then you both get a point.
Fun.
Teams in the Tour de France.
Oh.
UAE Team Emirates.
Jumbo Visma.
Yep.
Cofidis.
Yep.
Ineos Grenadiers.
Yep.
Total Energies.
Bora Hansgrohe.
Yep.
Uno X.
Astana Kazakhstan.
Oh, that's
Yep.
a good one. Bora Hansgrohe.
I said that.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That was the big test of that game.
It's a memory
memory.
of what Johnny says
Yep.
rather than
You
memory
didn't think
of the
we would
teams.
know all of the teams in the tour. We have a thing around our necks that has all of them.
I should have just
we can
went
have
through
a,
that.
We could have a good go of like doing them in order by this point. We're on stage 14.
I was pretty sure that somebody would do what Ian just did
Yeah.
and double up, or you would just forget
RKSM.
RKSM.
Or which companies are sponsoring Intermarché this year?
Exactly.
Circus 1, 2.
And it turned out to be true. You actually have to name one more without looking.
Oh shit!
To get your point.
Let's go for business-friendly Bahrain victorious.
Point to Johnny. There you go.
Well done, Johnny. You win this round of Daily Pain.
Thank you. I feel good. Any other business?
Let's hear from José.
The Alps are absolutely gorgeous, and today's stage will be no different. I don't know what the race will bring because, of course, I can't look into the future, but I do expect excitement on the final climb to the town of Saint-Gervais-de-Mont-Blanc. The finish is at only 1,372 metres above sea level, but the Mont Blanc itself is much higher. It is actually the highest mountain peak in the Mont Blanc Massif in France and the entire Alps. With 4,810 metres, it is even one of the highest mountains in Europe and only has to lose out to a number of peaks from the Caucasus spread over Russia, Georgia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. The mountain top of the Mont Blanc is shared with Italy and is therefore also the highest mountain in Italy. The absolute top is in the French part though. Mont Blanc is the site of many epic mountain climbing adventures. Chamonix had offered a prize for the first to conquer the highest mountain in the Alps. Several failed attempts were made from 1760 to 1786, but the first climbers who reached the top did so 237 years ago. Two residents of Chamonix left on August 8, 1786 at 4:15 a.m. and conquered the mountain from the French side. They arrived at the top at 6:30 p.m. that night. The two Frenchmen were Jacques Belmat and Michael Paccard. They were crystal hunter and a doctor, respectively. But who of the two reached the top first is still a mystery. Mont Blanc used to be called Mont Maudit for a long time, meaning the accursed or damned mountain. And this was the case on the 24th of January 1966 as Air India Flight 101 started its descent to Geneva Airport. The pilot had miscalculated the aircraft's altitude and the Boeing 707 was heading directly for the summit of Mont Blanc. All 117 people on board were killed as the plane crashed. A mountain guide said right after the crash, everything was completely pulverized and nothing was identifiable except for a few letters and packets. Yet, Air India Flight 101 did appear to hold some precious cargo. It was almost half a century later that a package with 100 precious emeralds, sapphires and rubies was found. During the crash, it was flung through the air and swallowed into the ice of Mont Blanc. A local climber found the bag in September of 2013, 47 years after the crash. It was assumed to have originated from. They were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The climber who found them brought them to the local police, who lauded his honesty, saying he could have kept them, but he chose to turn them in because he knew they belonged to somebody who perished. A few years went by when attempts were made to find the rightful owners. Two families by the same name of Isharov came forward claiming the gems belonged to them. An extra complication in finding the rightful owners was that the 1966 crash was not the only Indian plane crashing right there. In November of 1950, there was also a crash killing 58 people. It couldn't be ruled out the stones weren't from that flight, although most people involved assume they come from the 1966 crash. Well, after some extensive research, the owners of the valuable stones were never found, and the treasure went back to the finder. The honest finder and the French local authorities got to keep the treasure, and both received half of its value, estimated at $340,000.
Thanks as always to José for bringing us little cultural tidbits every single day. Gentlemen, Is there anything else we missed from today's stage? Our live studio audience, is there anything that we've missed from today's stage? Anything you noticed, Andy, Sive?
Did you have a nice day?
The hard-hitting questions. So, this your first day on the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's been quite the day to start the tour. The whole thing just exploding in front of our eyes.
You were working until like 9:40, so that sounds about right.
Yeah. This is start as you mean to go on.
Yep. Andy, you?
I did a piece on the mega crash. That's what I've called it, kind of gratuitously. I had a nice chat with Fred Wright.
He fell down, didn't
He
he?
nearly abandoned. He said it was one of his worst days ever on the bike.
Oh, God.
But he still gave really good copy, really good quotes.
Yeah.
Super nice man.
He's like that.
I was going to say, I hope you weren't making him file copy after that as well. Can you just type that up, mate, and just send it over?
You have a deadline, Fred. Come on, chop. He's watching Love Island, this Tour de France, over reading Philip K. Dick novels. So
This is interesting.
yeah.
He said, I talked about Love Island before the tour, and he said it's because it on the bus and the transfers, it just helps him switch off completely. Presumably just due to the mind-numbing conversations they have where you kind of believe that you can't exist on the earth anymore.
We have had a few requests for people to let them know where the Love Island Jacob nickname came from.
Yeah.
So maybe that can be Love Island Corner.
This is Love Island Corner. Do you have the full story on that? For me, I've forgotten.
It's a really disappointing story. I think that's why we haven't really told it. We just kind of named him that. I think we were up. Actually,
I think he did watch it, but he wasn't watching it properly. He was just like watched it.
We were in Leger, which is where tomorrow's start is, I believe.
Yeah.
We were up visiting Tom's last year when he was racing the Tour de France, and having a conversation. And we were like, "What are you up to? What did you do last night?" And he's like, "I was just sitting there watching Love Island," and
now it will haunt him forever.
It will haunt him forever.
Yeah.
This is what people need to know, is when you come in contact with us, you may end up with a nickname that ends up on a podcast going out to thousands and thousands of people.
We are a corrosive substance.
Some of them are now qualifying when they speak to us. You can't talk about this on the podcast.
That is true. Actually, Love Island Jacob has done this.
There is a very high...
Luckily, he tried to as well.
And he tried to fool me the other day.
He did. We can't get into
No,
that story,
that was not on the record. This is the thing. They tell us.
Yeah.
Explicitly, they say this is not on the record.
Yeah, they talk. Yeah, they just say off the record, on the record.
Yes.
Maybe we should just bring people a big switch, like get a big light switch, and then that's how we know the conversations.
But I think we are the only people that sort of think it's worthy of publishing dumb bullshit like that. So
probably,
yeah,
that's fine.
They know what we're up to. They understand what we bring to the table.
Does Fred Wright need to be added to one of our awards?
Yes.
We're working on an award show right now.
Yeah,
that I
for
think
the rest day.
No, it's going to go after the tour, I think.
Right? Oh, you're just going to do the whole thing. You're not going to let people discuss.
I think we'll.
I thought we were going to record nominations.
We'll record it with. Oh, we could. Yeah, maybe.
Do I need to put my dinner suit away?
Yes.
That's what's in your massive suitcase. I was wondering.
I'm just wondering if
I was thinking we do nominations. We record nominations before Ian leaves. We roll that out on the rest day, and then
now we're just talking podcast logistics in front of everybody.
Yeah, but maybe they want to know.
Yeah. Is that a WAV file or an MP4, Kaylee?
All you need to know is that we're. If you've watched the US Office, we're recreating the Dundies, but for the Tour de France.
Yep, it's gonna be great. I think that's it. I think we're done.
Oh yeah, we're definitely done.
I think we're done with today's podcast. It was an amazing stage of the bicycle race. All sorts of things happened, and then by the end, effectively nothing happened.
Another
fun bike racing.
Another fun fact about where we're going to go to now. We're going to go to our accommodation, which is a sort of ski lodge type thing. Very normal, ordinary, but it does somehow manage within there, has 10 beds squeezed in, 2 showers and 1 toilet. So if you're using all of those beds, I dread to think what the sort of hygienic situation is.
All of the doors look exactly the same as well, which makes it extremely confusing when you're walking through. And 2 of the doors are locked.
Yes, they are. I have banged on them a couple of times, just being like, well, no, you're in there, just to see if anything happens, but nothing.
It's a weird town up here, Morzine.
The ski towns are weird in the summer, I feel.
Yeah. It's just full of mountain bikers right now. I was kind of tempted to go do that. Anyway, tomorrow we head to... Is it Salange? Salange? It has an S at the end. Salange.
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 Salanches.
Ian's final day on the tour.
Yeah, I actually don't even know where the tour starts in Leger tomorrow, and it finishes on a mountain somewhere, and then we stay in Salanches for like 3 or 4 days. Rest day.
Yeah.
That's where we will be recording from tomorrow. So we will, we'll see you there, I guess.
Maybe, probably.
Probably. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh, and sign up for $1 if you haven't already.
Yeah, go do that. Come on. EscapeCollective.com/join. We have a pretty great promo going on. Just this month, it will go away, and then you'll have to pay more money. Go on right now. Pay the $1.
We are doing this for fun, but also we need the money. Otherwise, we have to get proper jobs. And that would be terrible.
We don't want that. Nobody wants that. You don't want that. We don't want that. Nobody wants us having proper jobs.
Yeah.
Future proper job bosses definitely don't want us doing that.
Oh, God. I haven't even contemplated them one day getting a proper job and then finding all this.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Au revoir.